We're going to lay out the main activity window. So you need to make sure that in the app folder, in the resources folder, in the layout folder, you have activity main selected. And we can hide that project window if you want. You'll notice that we have a component tree down here at the bottom. The default is the constraint layout. We're going to work with that. We're going to add several components to it. Our components are up here. We have all, we have widgets, we have text. I actually want this to be a little bigger. We have layouts, we have containers, we have images. We're not going to use all of these, but we are going to start with text. We're going to start with the plain text option, and we're going to drag it right up here to the top. Now, I want to add text to this. So I'm going to go into my text section here, and I'm going to find the resource for it by clicking on my text, and I want to choose just the text header, which is Mary, and hit OK. And we should actually test this so that you can see what's happening. I recommend testing frequently. I'm going to choose Nexus API 5 and hit OK. It will take a minute or two to load for the first time, but as we rebuild this, I want to check each piece as I load it. That'll let me know if I break something. Now, as you get more confident, you've made more interfaces, you may wait till you're done with the full interface, but I want to show you a few things as we create them on our screen here, and then when it actually publishes, it's not going to do exactly what you think it's going to do. So I actually grabbed the wrong one. I meant to grab text instead of tool text. So that one should be Mary, and I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to notice that this is over to the left-hand side. It just automatically goes to the 0, 0 position, top left-hand corner of the screen. Well, that's not what I want. We're using the constraint layout, which means that we can grab these little circles here and draw lines, which are constraints as to where they're going to be. And I want it to be equal on each side here. And I want to tie it to the top here. And now, if I hit play, that's going to constrain it so it's sort of tied to the top and centered. Now that's going to center the text box, not the text in the box. So we'll still have a few things to do. So let's go look at the options I have here. And I do want a sans serif. Typeface, fine. That's good. Text size. I want it bigger. That's nice. Text color. I can choose from my color section here, and I'm actually going to play with this. I'm going to choose that one and hit OK. There we go. I want it to be bold, and I want it to be centered. So you can do a little bit of playing with your formatting there. And again, I'm checking this really frequently just because I'm trying to show you what it's doing. You don't have to rebuild it this often, but when you're first getting started, it can be nice to set it up the way you want. I don't really like the orange with the pink, so I'm going to go back and just make it the same color. So I'm using that color accent here, and I'm going to hit OK. And if I refresh that, again, it does take some time to do that, but until I'm happy with it, I like to check frequently. Okay, that's a good place to start. So I want to add an image underneath it, which means I'm going to have to go into my images, choose my image view, drop it down here, I want the Mary Bear image, and I'm going to hit OK. And I want it to be here. And for my content description, I'm going to put in my caption and hit OK. Wrap content, and wrap content is OK. I do want to constrain this a bit. I want to constrain it to the top here. I don't know that I really need to constrain the sides. Let me play with the different options. Nope. Wrap content's fine. Wrap content's fine. Scale type. Hit start. That's what I want. That's where I wanted it to look like. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that here. And now I've got a constraint there. I don't know that I need the constraints at the sides because it's matching it, but I want it sort of tied to the top up here. And then I want to rebuild it. I want to see what it's doing. The first time I did this, and I've built this several times now because I was running into issues, I was a little perplexed when everything was bumping up to the top here because it had changed from the last time I'd used the default layout. So the constraint layout was not always the default layout, and I had to learn to use these constraints to put things exactly where I wanted them. And that looks pretty good. Now I want to add a button. Here. And of course it does float to the top. That's not where I want it. I want to constrain it so it's right below my image. I want to do constraints to each side. Well, let's test it. I actually want that on each side, and I actually want this one to be 8 also. Now, the one thing I didn't do was change my button text here. So here, I have to go get into my text, and I have to select my text and hit OK. Now I'm going to test it one last time. Okay, now we're going to have to add the next screen and make the button work. So we're going to do those in 2 separate videos. So go ahead and get this layout set up the way you want, play with the colors, set up the layout of your first page with an image, a header, and a button that will eventually connect to a new view. And then we're going to go on with the next video.